for women who have things going for ourselves, we're educated, we are educating, right? This whole question of what do you bring to the table is like if I see someone ask that again, I'm just gonna delete all my social media. Those are the podcasters that don't deserve podcasts that
Mhm.
ask those kinds of questions. So, Patty, what made you want to talk about that?
Well, I think when I was looking at the topic of the prenups going circulating the internet, and we talk a lot about we talk about the culture. I think the culture today is really designed to where women, a lot of men are complaining. Women want someone that's going to pay all the bills, but she's nothing but a four. Right. So she just looks like a four, but she wants a man that can make $200,000 a year because she has to stay at home when the kids come because childcare costs X amount of dollars. And there's all kind of videos like that circulating the internet. So they talk a lot about, okay, so what do you bring to the table? I really feel like it's a dangerous question, right? It's dangerous
It's a
to
disrespectful question.
it's
Hella
Let's explain
disrespectful.
why it's a disrespectful
it's
question.
Hella
disrespectful, right?
disrespectful.
Because what's happening is if you're approaching a man asking about what he's bringing to the table, and you're approaching women about what they're bringing to the table, you're automatically bringing a spirit of competition into a relationship where collaboration should actually be at the nucleus of that, right? You want
Mm.
that charge, that force that holds you together to be collaboration in the theme of partnership, right? So what do you bring to the table? What do you have what can you add to my life? What can you bring? Like, who are you that I am obligated to add something to your life? You asked to be invited into mine. So I think that automatically throws up a defensive standpoint when someone is asking you, what do you bring to the table? And I'll add to that just one thing before I pass it off to you ladies, is that there was a gentleman that posted this long post today about what makes relationships work. And this was from the founder of Hinge, actually. And the founder of Hinge, who has a degree in psychology, or he's a founding member, has a degree in psychiatrist and psychology. What they're talking about in what is necessary in the relationship is we're looking for all these criterias. You're perfect on paper. You meet this checklist. You look like this. You have this. What do you bring to the table? Yeah, I need to know if you make sense on paper. But have you ever stopped to consider how someone makes you feel? Maybe we just can sit down and say, if I take all that off, if I remove the veil and I sit and I see, how does this person make me feel? Can we get back in touch with that? And because you can build on that, there's a lot of areas of life that can improve with the right person and the right partnership. And then they go on to share multiple success stories of marriages that come from this situation when you remove lists like that and questions like, what do you bring to the table? And go back to the root of, how is it that you make me feel? Do I feel safe? Do I feel motivated? Do I feel like I want to talk? Do I feel like I can let my hair down here? And let's go from there.
I
Bar
agree with
solid.
that. Can I offer a different perspective though? Or I really want to, I guess, really pose a question. Earlier today, when we were discussing the other topic. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about financial literacy when it comes to a relationship, and that's obviously something that we want to have a conversation about beforehand. So my question would be, how would a man and or a woman ask about a person without saying, what do you bring to the table? Like, you're right. I think that we can rattle off a lot of things as far as the table is concerned about these attributes on paper. I do agree with, how does somebody make you feel? Do they make you feel safe? I 100% agree with that. But what I struggle with in dating is, how are we supposed to ask these questions up front without it coming off offensive? Because I think the reality of life is we all want somebody to add to us as we feel we are also adding to other people. So what is a more respectful way to ask that question? How would you ladies like that question to be posed to you, right?
You say up front, how many dates into it are you talking about? Because I don't want to be on an interview on date one, right? So what's up front?
Okay, so that's a really great question. I guess it depends, because I mean, I know people that believe that on the first date it's okay to ask your credit score if that's what is it, again. And the reason why I say that is because, what is priority to you? What are you in this for? Are you looking for a lifetime partner? You get what I'm saying? Now, I do believe the first couple of days you should just be kind of getting to know each other, but some people also believe that you should date with intention. And if there are specific qualities that you are looking for that other person does not have, if that person does not handle their finances well, and we're not talking about a lot of finances, you can be making $45,000 a year and handling your finances well. So we're not talking about a specific number. But if that is important to you, why would I go on 5 or 6 dates And then now I kind of like you, and come to find out something that was uber important to me and I'm dating with intention, they don't possess that quality. So what do I do with that? You get what I'm saying? So I don't know what that looks like. It looks different for different people.
I don't know that you could even ever, I don't think immediately you could even get those answers. I think it takes years to get to know somebody if you want to know the truth, right? It takes years. So I think the question
Ooh,
that
don't
I
tell me
would
that.
be I know that's why like starting over is stupid, right? Like make it work. But I think the question that I could respect a whole lot more is how are we aligned? Are we aligned in
That's
our
a good question.
values, in our core values? Like, are we, you know what I mean? And I think that that's a character question. Just like, we talked about earlier with like prenups and whatever, people aren't going to be the same people years down the line. I want to look at you in the spirit. I don't want to see you how everybody else sees you. I want to see into you. I want to see what your heart is made of. I want to see what your character is like. Can I work with that? For me, that's what is more important. But I think, I don't want to get too off topic of what the original question was. Like when someone asks, any woman listening, if a man ever asks you, what do you bring to the table? Just leave. Just leave, because it's not, because that there's an inherent competitive excuse me, you'll make me get all choked up and mad. Like there's an inherent competitive like nature to that question, and that shouldn't even exist. Because if you want to know the real answer, it's the ability to help you continue your legacy. That is it. That is all that you need to know, is my womb to help you keep your last name alive on this earth. And that's all. You know what I mean? Anything past that is the, like, what are we talking about right
Yeah, because I guess what you're saying is if you ask somebody, what are you bringing to the table? It is almost like I have to qualify now for you.
Well, I mean, Jade, you made a good point. We don't agree on this, right? But I think you made a good point, and I think there's another layer to add to what you're saying. So, a lot of men have reported that they will be turned off by a woman based on how she presents herself on Instagram, whether or not they're going to be able to afford the lifestyle that she's currently living. We're
now?
not just talking about the beautiful girls that are half naked traveling everywhere getting sponsored. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a lot of people. A man could look at my page and he's probably going to be intimidated and say, I'm not going to be able to keep up with that lifestyle because nothing on her page looks inexpensive or cheap, right? And that's understandable. So I think the
I
idea
mean, when you have caviar on a Saturday, I mean,
Did she not? Yes, she did. I mean, like it was nothing.
Every day.
I had caviar last night. I'm ordering it every time. But
I love it.
and that's true. Like you might, people are on Twitter arguing about $200 dates. I'm like, baby, you got to spend 6 times that if we're going on a date. Just kidding.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
just kidding, not kidding, not
Not
really
kidding.
though.
But for real.
So
I need to step my game up, ladies. I need to step my game up. Okay.
talking about Applebee's and Outback and shit like that, it's not happening. So I've matured past that. And I'm not even saying you have to always. Okay, let me not go there. Okay, the point of the question was when you're asking about what do you bring to the table. I feel like if that's where we're starting, that is the wrong foot to start with, right? Like I don't want to be courting. I don't want to be courted by someone, and I don't want to be attracted to someone who is starting the conversation in that way. Can we have fun? I think men are losing interest in women. There are lots of men that are in the dating app world that have lots of degrees in psychology that will tell you that men are not attracted to ambitious women. An ambitious woman is less attractive. When a woman makes more, it makes her less attractive. But when a man makes more, he's way more attractive. He's attracting more opportunities, attracting more women. But when the higher up the woman goes on the ladder, the less attractive she is, right? These are societal standards. So if we're coming to these basic conversations on dates early on, and we're talking about what is your criteria for relationships, what are you looking for? I think it's immediate turnoff. I think we need to get back to just getting to know each other as humans so I can decide whether or not that's a conversation I even want to have with you. How do I feel in your presence, right? So
For the record,
We gotta swerve, hard swerve.
I know we do, but for the record, I've never had, only broke men have asked me stupid shit like that.
That part,
Dead ass.
100%.
For real.
100%.
But a man who's well off and has never ever asked me anything like that. Latoya said, let's keep it real, ladies. There's women who are entertaining this type of behavior from men, and that's why men are comfortable to ask these type of questions. This is the perfect segue into our last topic because I feel like that is so true. And if women supported women better, and if women showed up with more of a united front, a lot more, I know this is going to be a little controversial, but the set of values that is not competitive, that is not, that does not entertain the foolery that men present us, right? I was talking to my cousin yesterday. He was literally, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what he said. He said, getting women is so easy. I don't even have to try anymore. He said, I remember when I was younger.
100%.
He said, I could go to the mall. I had to like put in work to go talk to girls. He's like, I'm older now. It looks like, I'm doing my thing. I've got some stuff going on. He said, I don't even have to try. These women come to me. And I'm like, that's
And settle for some
interesting.
bullshit.
And settle for some bullshit. So are women really blinded by the light?